Kara, a blue-skinned alien from the planet Zytheria, had always been intrigued by the stars that dotted her night sky. Her species, the Zytherians, had long mastered interstellar travel, and Kara, as one of their most skilled navigators, was often assigned to explore uncharted territories. On the other side of the galaxy, Jack, an engineer from Earth, specialized in terraforming technologies. His latest assignment had brought him to the edge of known space, where Earth's expanding frontier hoped to claim and cultivate new worlds. Their paths collided, or rather their ships did, above a desolate, storm-ravaged planet neither had set out to explore. The collision was a freak accident, a 1 in a billion chance encounter in the vast emptiness of space. Both their ships, crippled and spiraling, were sucked into the planet's gravitational pull. The crash was brutal. Kara's sleek silver ship and Jack's bulkier, robust craft were fused by the impact, creating a grotesque hybrid of metal and technology on the planet's rocky surface. Kara was thrown from her controls, her body slamming against the ship's inner hull, her senses dimming as darkness encroached. Jack was luckier, if one could call it that. His ship's robust design, meant to withstand the rigors of atmospheric entry, saved him from immediate death. He awoke amidst a tangle of wires and metal, his head pounding and his vision blurred. As the dust settled and the initial shock wore off, Jack scrambled to assess the situation. His ship was in ruins, systems failing left and right. He stumbled over to the fuse section where Kara's ship connected with his, curious about the other vessel embedded in his own. Inside the alien ship, Kara slowly regained consciousness. Her training kicked in almost immediately. Her first thoughts on survival. She checked her suit's integrity, finding it miraculously intact, and then looked to assess her ship's condition. The sight that met her was not promising. The control panel flickered erratically, her navigation systems clearly compromised. She ventured a glance outside and saw the wreckage of the two ships, now a twisted mass of alien and human technology. Their survival depended on cooperation, a daunting task given the communication barriers. Jack, with his limited knowledge of alien tech gleaned from shared galactic databases, started to explore the interface between their ships. Kara, observing his efforts, decided to make the first move. Stepping through a jagged opening into what remained of Jack's ship, she activated the translation device at her wrist. "Human, do you understand me?" she asked, her voice calm but carrying the weight of their dire circumstances. Jack turned, startled by her sudden appearance, yet relieved to not be alone. His own translator worked a moment later. "Yes, I understand. I'm Jack, an engineer," he replied, extending a hand in a gesture of peace. Kara looked at the offered hand, recognizing the human custom from her briefings. "I am Kara of Zytheria," she responded, taking his hand cautiously. Together, they surveyed the wreckage. "We need to stabilize our life support systems first," Kara suggested, her expertise in her own ship's technology making her the de facto leader in this aspect of their survival. Jack nodded, his engineering skills kicking in. "Let's see what we can salvage from both ships. If we combine our resources, we might make it out alive." As they set to work, the storm outside howled, a grim reminder of the planet's harshness. But inside the twisted wreckage, a fragile bond began to form between human and Zytherian, united by a common goal: survival. Their task was daunting, and the environment unforgiving, but with each passing hour their makeshift sanctuary slowly started to take shape, a testament to their resilience and ingenuity. The planet's day cycle was shorter than either Kara or Jack had ever experienced, cycling rapidly between harsh sunlight and bitter cold darkness. They had set up a makeshift camp using the salvaged materials from both ships, creating a barrier against the relentless wind and dust storms that plagued the landscape. While Jack was improvising a water reclamation unit, Kara was busy scanning the horizon with her makeshift sensor array. They needed to find a more sustainable source of water if they were to survive long-term on this inhospitable planet. Suddenly, her scanner beeped. There was a large underground aquifer approximately 2 kilometers north of their crash site. However, the path was fraught with perilous terrain and unknown life forms that lurked in the shadows of the towering rock formations. "We need to reach that water source," Kara explained, showing Jack the data on her handheld device. But the journey there won't be easy. Jack, inspecting his makeshift tools, nodded. Let's prepare what we need for defense and mobility. I've managed to repurpose some of the drone tech to create a basic surveillance system. We can send it ahead to scout the route. Utilizing the drone, they discovered that the path was indeed treacherous, riddled with deep crevices and inhabited by skittish, yet potentially dangerous creatures. The drone footage showed them stalking the shadows, their eyes reflecting the infrared light in eerie glows. Armed with makeshift weapons and carrying supplies on their backs, they set out at dawn. The terrain was unforgiving, loose rocks giving way underfoot, sharp cliffs demanding careful navigation. Despite the odds, the shared challenge drew Kara and Jack closer, each relying on the other's strengths. Halfway to the aquifer, a sudden quake shook the ground, opening a chasm right in front of them. The drone, hovering nearby, was caught in a gust of wind and crashed into the rocky wall, its valuable reconnaissance lost. Stranded on opposite sides of the newly formed rift, Jack shouted over the howling wind, "Kara, can you make it across?" Kara assessed the gap. It was too wide to jump, and the unstable edges crumbled under the slightest pressure. "No, we need another way around," she called back, her voice barely audible. With communication difficult and the wind rising, they each had to rely on their individual wits to navigate the dangerous landscape. Jack, with his engineering skills, began constructing a bridge using sturdy metal beams from his pack. Meanwhile, Kara explored a potential detour that might lead her back to Jack's side. After tense hours battling the elements and terrain, they managed to reunite. Jack's bridge, though precarious, held long enough for Kara to cross. Exhausted but undeterred, they continued towards the aquifer. When they finally reached the site, they were greeted not just by the promise of water, but by the sight of strange, bioluminescent plants that lit up the cavern in an ethereal glow. The plants were rooted in the rich, moist soil around the water source, creating a natural reservoir. They collected samples of the water and plants, hoping both could be beneficial. As they set up a small pump to start transferring water back to their camp, Kara observed the plants closely. "These could have medicinal properties," she noted, intrigued by their gentle luminescence. Back at their camp, with the water secured and their immediate survival seemingly assured, the day's trials lingered in the air between them. They had faced the planet's dangers and their own limitations, emerging not just unscathed, but with a newfound respect for each other's capabilities. Yet, as they sat by the flickering light of a small fire, the silence spoke of the unspoken challenges yet to come. This planet was not just a test of their survival skills, but of their ability to work together in the face of the unknown. In the dim light of dawn, a faint rumble echoed through the terrain, a stark reminder of the planet's restless nature. Jack and Kara had barely slept, their minds racing with the day's upcoming tasks and the persistent uncertainty of their situation. While Jack busied himself reinforcing their makeshift shelter against the planet's relentless elements, Kara was deep into analyzing the bioluminescent plants. Her preliminary tests revealed intriguing properties. The plants not only purified the water, but also emitted a faint radiation that could potentially be harnessed for energy. Their morning was abruptly disrupted by a series of sharp beeps from Kara's scanner. A storm was approaching, far more severe than any they had encountered so far. The data suggested it wasn't just a meteorological storm, but one charged with electromagnetic pulses, likely to wreak havoc on any unshielded electronics. "We need to shield our equipment, now!" Kara exclaimed, her voice tense with urgency. They scrambled to cover their technology with whatever materials could provide insulation and grounding. As the storm hit, the air crackled with electric charge, a whirlwind of dust and energy that encased them in an almost impenetrable fog. The ferocity of the wind battered their shelter, testing the strength of every joint and seam. In the midst of the chaos, a loud crash resonated from the back of their camp. They exchanged a look of alarm and ventured out into the maelstrom to investigate. A large portion of their ship's hull had been torn off, revealing an inner compartment previously hidden by debris. Inside, they discovered an emergency cache Jack hadn't known existed. It was filled with food supplies, medical kits, and most importantly, a high-powered transmitter. "This could be our ticket home," Jack said, a glimmer of hope in his eyes as he examined the device. However, the transmitter was damaged, its components fried by the storm's electromagnetic pulses. "We need to repair this," Jack stated, his mind already ticking through potential solutions. Kara, meanwhile, continued her experiments with the bioluminescent plants. Mixing their extracts with some of the chemicals found in the medical kit, she created a potent compound that glowed intensely upon exposure to the air. "This could serve as an excellent light source," she noted, pondering the dual utility of her discovery. As the storm subsided, the sky cleared to reveal a star-strewn sky, more vivid than anything on Earth or Zetheria. Under this celestial canopy, Jack and Kara sat side by side, the transmitter's schematics spread out before them. Repairing the transmitter would be no small feat. It required precise components they didn't have, and improvisation was the name of the game. Jack fashioned conductive materials from the wreckage, while Kara modified the device to handle the unique electrical output of the bioluminescent plant extracts. After several hours of meticulous work under the stars, they attempted to power up the transmitter. The initial flicker of lights was promising, but then it faltered, plunging them back into darkness. Frustration mounted, and fatigue set in. They were so close to a possible rescue, yet the complexities of alien technology and human ingenuity weren't quite aligning. As they troubleshooted the device, a sense of camaraderie developed between them, their shared goal fostering a deep, unspoken bond. By the time the twin suns rose, casting long shadows over the rocky landscape, Jack and Kara had not only revived the transmitter, but also fortified their camp against future storms. With the device humming softly in the background, ready to send out a distress signal at dawn, they allowed themselves a few moments of rest, watching the horizon shift in hues of purple and gold. Their efforts had not gone unnoticed. As the transmitter's signal pierced the cosmos, somewhere in the darkness of space, a receiver beeped, a beacon of hope responding to their call. As the distant hum of the transmitter filled the air, Kara and Jack prepared for the possibility of a response. Every part of their being was alert, hoping against the odds for a sign that help was on its way. The signal, a pulse of hope, stretched out into the cosmos, its echo a testament to their desperation and ingenuity. While they waited, they fortified their camp further. Using parts from the wreckage, Jack engineered a more robust perimeter defense system. The land around them, though quiet, was always on the brink of presenting new dangers, and their previous encounters had taught them the importance of preparedness. Kara, meanwhile, continued to experiment with the bioluminescent plants. She had begun to integrate the plant extracts into their food supply, finding that the radiant energy seemed to enhance their nutritional value, a crucial benefit given their limited rations. Days melded into nights, each cycle marked by the constant beep of the transmitter, a pulse in the vast silence of the planet. Then, on what felt like the 100th dawn, a crackle over the makeshift radio set they had assembled from salvaged parts stirred them from their routine. The static cleared momentarily, replaced by a voice, garbled and distant. "Repeat, this is the Galactic Coalition. Received your distress signal. Coordinates received." The voice faded out as quickly as it had appeared, swallowed by the whirling winds that swept across the landscape. Jack's hands trembled as he adjusted the settings, trying to re-establish a connection. "We got through. Someone's out there," he said, his voice a mix of excitement and disbelief. Kara's eyes shone with a mixture of relief and caution. "We must prepare for their arrival. We don't know what or who to expect. Our signal could have reached anyone in this part of the galaxy." Their preparations took on a new urgency. They gathered all the information and samples they could present about the planet. Jack documented their technological innovations and repairs, while Kara prepared a detailed report on the botanical findings and their applications. As they worked, a new problem presented itself. The planet's magnetic field began to fluctuate more intensely than before, likely stirred into chaos by the same cosmic forces that made this planet so hostile. The fluctuations interfered with their makeshift communication setup, making further contact sporadic and unreliable. We need to stabilize the magnetic interference if we're to keep the line open when they arrive, Jack noted, pulling out schematics and tools. Together, they built a rudimentary magnetic shield around their camp, using salvaged alloys from the ships. The shield was a crude but effective solution, dampening the worst of the fluctuations. With the shield in place, they managed to send out another message, confirming their readiness to receive help and providing updated landing coordinates, adjusted for the shifting landscape caused by frequent seismic activity. Days passed as they monitored the skies, the familiar routine of survival now mixed with anxious anticipation. They took turns keeping watch, scanning the horizon for any sign of a rescue ship. Then one evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the jagged rocks, a bright light appeared in the sky. It grew larger, a point of light stretching into the shape of a ship. Kara and Jack watched, hearts pounding as the ship descended, its engines a low roar in the quiet of the alien dusk. The ship landed with a gentle thud a few hundred meters from their camp. Its design was neither human nor Zetherian, sleek and unfamiliar. The hatch opened and a figure stepped out, silhouetted against the bright interior light. Jack and Kara approached cautiously, aware that their rescue might not be from an ally, but from a faction within the Galactic Coalition with its own agenda. As they drew closer, the figure raised a hand in greeting, a universal sign of peace. "I'm Commander Lyra from the Galactic Coalition. We received your distress call. Are you in need of assistance?" Jack and Kara exchanged a glance, relief washing over them, mingled with the remnants of fear. Their rescue had come, not just as a deliverance from physical danger, but as a bridge back to the civilization they had been abruptly torn from. Yet as they would soon learn, their adventure on this alien planet was far from over. Commander Lyra's ship was a marvel of engineering, compact yet equipped with the latest in interstellar navigational and life support systems. As they toured the vessel, Jack and Kara were introduced to a crew that was as diverse as the galaxy itself, each member representing a different planet within the Galactic Coalition. The commander explained their mission, a routine patrol that had intercepted the distress signal. "Your signal was faint, but it bore the distinct signature of Coalition technology," Lyra said, her voice firm yet friendly. "It's our duty to respond to such calls, regardless of the source." As they discussed the circumstances of their crash and survival, Jack and Kara presented the data they had collected about the planet. The bioluminescent plants particularly intrigued the ship's science officer, a keen-eyed individual named Torin, who specialized in xenobotany. "Your findings could have significant implications for our understanding of life in the galaxy," Torin mused, examining the samples under a high-resolution scanner. "These plants contain unique genetic markers that suggest they could be a missing link in evolutionary biology." Meanwhile, Lyra pulled Kara aside. "There's more at stake here than a simple rescue," she confessed in a lower tone. "This sector of space has been under surveillance due to unusual energy readings. Your crash might have been influenced by these anomalies." Kara processed this information, her mind racing. The implications were significant, suggesting their presence on the planet might not have been as accidental as they had thought. Back on the planet's surface to gather more supplies and finalize their departure, Jack sensed a shift in the atmosphere. The ground trembled lightly underfoot, a reminder of the planet's volatile nature. He looked up to see strange cloud formations gathering in the sky, unlike any they had witnessed before. "We need to hurry," Jack called out to Kara, who was collecting additional plant samples. "This planet isn't done with us yet." As they prepared to leave, their sensors detected an incoming storm, larger and potentially more destructive than any before. They relayed the information to Lyra, who made the call to evacuate immediately. The rush to board the ship was frenetic. As the winds began to howl and lightning crackled across the sky, the crew hastily stowed the last of their equipment. Jack and Kara boarded the ship, turning for one last look at the wild landscape that had been their home and prison. The ascent was rough, the ship buffeted by winds and electromagnetic pulses. Once in orbit, the crew gathered to debrief. Lyra displayed a holographic map of the sector. The energy anomalies we've detected correlate strongly with the locations of ancient artifacts believed to be linked to the old empire, she explained, pointing to clusters of light on the map. Kara linked the data from their experiences on the planet with the map. It seems we've barely scratched the surface. What if the planet is guarding something, some remnant of the old empire? The possibility hung in the air, a new mystery unfolding before them. Torin chimed in. We have the means to explore these connections further. With your first-hand knowledge and the data we've gathered, we might uncover secrets long buried. Lyra made the decision to extend their mission, dedicating resources to investigate the strange phenomena. Jack, Kara, your survival was no small feat. If you're willing, your insight could be invaluable to our mission. Both agreed without hesitation. The galaxy held secrets that they had touched upon by chance, and now they found themselves at the forefront of new explorations. As the ship charted a course deeper into the unknown, Jack and Kara watched the stars, their past ordeal a bridge to the vast mysteries ahead. Their work had just begun. As they delved deeper into the galaxy's secrets, each discovery would build upon the last, revealing layers of history and science that challenged their understanding of the universe. Aboard Commander Lyra's ship, the team's next steps were mapped out with precise attention to the patterns of energy anomalies across the sector. The ship's advanced sensors and Torin's expertise were crucial as they traced the lineage of the bioluminescent plants back to an ancient civilization, one whose technology had once spanned this forgotten corner of the galaxy. Kara and Jack, now integral members of the mission, helped to calibrate the ship's equipment to better navigate the disturbances that had become more frequent and intense. As they ventured deeper into space, the anomalies seemed to center around a specific uncharted system, one that historical records only whispered about in conjecture. This system could be a convergence point of the old empire's technology, Torin theorized, reviewing the spectral data. Perhaps it's not just a cluster of planets, but a repository, or a beacon of some sort. As the ship approached the coordinates, a massive structure slowly emerged from the darkness of space, illuminated by the light of a nearby sun. It was unlike anything they had encountered, a colossal station, its design both ancient and advanced, drifting silently in orbit around a dead star. The sight of it sent shivers down their spines. Lyra ordered the ship to a cautious approach. This could be one of the old empire's outposts, she speculated, her voice a mixture of awe and concern. We need to be extremely careful. There's no telling what kind of defenses or life forms might still be active. Jack and Kara suited up for a closer inspection. They piloted a small shuttle towards the station, its surfaces scarred by time and cosmic debris. As they docked, the airlock hissed open, revealing a labyrinth of corridors lined with dust and shadows. Inside, the station was eerily silent, save for the hum of their own life support systems. The walls were adorned with carvings that depicted the stars and unknown mathematical formulas, a library of cosmic knowledge etched in stone and metal. They discovered a central chamber, its ceiling a vast dome that projected a map of the galaxy as it had been eons ago. At the heart of the room, an ancient device, a console of sorts, awaited interaction. Kara approached cautiously, her translator device buzzing with activity as it processed the symbols that glowed faintly on the console. Looks like it's been waiting for someone to come along who understands, Jack murmured, examining the alien circuitry. Kara activated the console, and the room filled with light, projecting images of the old empire. They witnessed scenes of exploration, the spread of a civilization across the stars, and ultimately, its decline. The projector showed the Empire's last days, how they had seeded planets with life as a legacy. The bioluminescent plants, they must have been part of an experiment, a way to preserve knowledge or life, Torin said over the comms, his voice filled with wonder. The revelation was profound. They were standing in a nexus of history, where past efforts to safeguard civilization had reached through time to them. The station was not merely a relic, but a beacon meant to guide successors in the far future. With this understanding, they gathered all the data they could. The station's archives offered advanced scientific knowledge and technologies, promising new paths for Coalition research. The legacy of the old empire could now be preserved and studied. As they returned to their ship, the stars seemed less mysterious, more like roads that had always been destined to lead them here. The mission had changed them, not just as survivors, but as pioneers at the edge of humanity's reach into the universe. Back on Lyra's ship, the team set a course back to Coalition space, their ship not just carrying them, but also the profound responsibility of newfound knowledge. Jack and Kara looked out at the passing stars, their journey from stranded survivors to galaxy-wide explorers complete, yet their new mission was just beginning. In the silence between the stars, they understood that every end is just another beginning, and the echoes of the past would always resonate into the future, guiding those willing to listen and learn.